What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our Week 10 matchup here in UPA's Showdown Division. And this week is pretty much must win. We are currently sitting at 5-4 with a pretty crappy differential, to be honest with you. -3, -4. It's not great. We're in the minuses. It's like our wins have been small and our losses have been big. So we've been in. It's very unfortunate that that's been the case, but it is what it is. But like everyone in the lower half of the potential playoff bracket is all sitting at like 4 and 5 wins, with not every match being updated currently in the Draft League site that we use. So it's a very good possibility that we're going to end up in a weird situation where there's going to be a lot of teams tied record-wise, and it's all going to come down to differential. And basically, I need to make sure that I am in the best possible position I can be to potentially make playoffs. My differential might hold me back, but at least if I can get a win this week, it puts me still in the conversation. So this week we are taking on DJ Barara and the Vicious Venusaurs. Like his logo. Very cool logo. And his team is, well, I mean, if we're going to have a tough matchup to end the season, we're going to have a tough matchup to end the season. His team consists of Mew, Tornadus Therian, Excadrill, Medicham, Tyranitar, Azumarill, Komodo with no access to Clangorous Soul, Ditto, and regular old-fashioned Lopunny. So, aspects of this team that are problematic. Mew can literally run whatever it wants. That's a problem. That's going to be incredibly annoying. Tornadus, Regenerator, annoying. Can literally just live forever, and probably it has the most variability in what it can do. Excadrill, plus T-Tar, Sandcore. That's going to be major pain in the ass. Mega Medicham. Probably the one thing I'm least worried about in the broad scheme of things, but still can be a problem. T-Tar. I've already discussed. Sandcore. Annoying, but can also be a threat in and of itself. Azumarill. Thick, fat, doubtable, huge power, probably. Sap Sipper wouldn't put it past them. My Zarude has been put in a lot of work this season, so I wouldn't be surprised if this thing was Sap Sipper to try to wall my Zarude. Komodo. Even without Clangorous Soul, D-Dance, Throat Spray, whatever sets it wants to run, it can literally run like a dozen different sets, and it can be a problem. Komodo is a very big annoyance for us to deal with, for sure. Ditto. I hate Ditto. It's just annoying because it's like it forces me to prep certain ways and try to avoid setup if I can. It's not always possible. Some weeks you just kind of have to have the setup there. Spoilers, this is one of them, but even still, not great. And then Lopunny, I don't know if Lopunny comes. I don't think Lopunny comes to the match with a top freaking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like that. Like Lopunny's not coming to the game. I don't actually know if he brought Lopunny at all this season. He did. He brought it once and it died. So that's not that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. So that is their team. Very, very scary team. Let's go ahead and show you ours. So the first one we're bringing is going to be Misao the Esperon with the Rocky Helmet. I know, weird item for Esperon, and I'll explain in a minute. Max HP, max defense, bold nature, 4 into Spadef. Mega Medicham, in my opinion, is one of the hardest hitting Megas in the game. Mega Medicham also, in my opinion, is one of the worst Megas in the game. Because, yes, it is a very strong, hard-hitting mon. It's got pure power. It hits like a truck. However, it is hard-walled by any bulky psychic type. By any psychic type in general. By psychic types. I've walled this thing with a Behemoth in the past. A Behemoth. So, physically defensive, Rocky Helmet, Esperon is my immediate switch in to Medicham. Obviously, I'm going to try to get to waste its fake out first, because I preferred it to not have a fake out. Because the fake out damage makes it a problem. But if I switch in, I click Wish, and immediately, like, he's already taken, like, a quarter of his health from trying to attack me. It can't break through me. And I can just Wish up and keep this thing healthy as long as I can, as long as I need to. Because Medicham cannot break me without critting me. Or trying to set up on me. And even still, I whittle it down and keep it whittled down to the point where it's not really a threat. You have Psychic, Toxic, Wish, and Heal Bell. Only downside of this set is I am hard-walled by things like T-Tar and I'm hard-walled by Excadrill. I'm hard-walled by myself if the Ditto transforms into me. And I'm not hard-walled by Mew. I can still Toxic the Mew. I don't care if I get Toxic back. So, keep myself healthy, and I have the Heal Bell to get rid of Toxic if it gets bounced back to me from the Synchronize. Also can be very important because I do see the potential for like Will-O-Wisps being thrown around. A lot of Toxics happening from like a bulky Azumarill or T-Tar or whatever, throwing those around. So I want to be able to keep my team healthy. And then Psychic just kind of gives me a stab move to hit the Medicham with, in between like Wishing Up and whatnot. That's pretty much the whole purpose of this. This thing's literally just here because Medicham exists. And so we have Gine the Suicune, 252 HP, 204 defense, bold nature, with a 52 in speed. The 52 in speed allows me to outpace max speed as Azumarill? Yeah, that's max speed as Azumarill, 218. Correctamundo? Is that Correctamundo? Yeah, 218. Lets me outpace max speed Azumarill. Scald, Toxic, Protect, and Roar. Scald, just spam against the team, try to get burns on things, which would be great. I wouldn't mind a burn if I get the burn on, Mew. Counteract like some leftovers or something. I wouldn't mind getting burned. That would be fine with me because, I'm especially offensive and I don't really care. It's fine. I ain't stressing it. If I can get burns on things, that'd be great. Can scald things like the T-Tar, burn the T-Tar, burn the Excadrill, just break through the Excadrill, honestly. Potentially get a burn on Azumarill, which would be great, because obviously it could be the huge power set, and that would be a problem. So if I can get a burn on that, that makes it immediately, less useful. I also can Roar. If Azumarill comes out in front of me, I might just click Roar immediately. And the reason for that is just because, obviously, it could be Billy Drum. It could see me as a potential Billy Drum setup fodder, because I can't do too much damage to it. So I would much rather just Roar it and get rid of it than let it sit around and do whatever nonsense it wants to do. So yeah. Then I'm just Toxic Protect because I'm scummy and I want to win. So toxic things, protect, Toxic Protect, 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 Toxic Protect. Make everything die to that. So that'd be cool. Next up we have Aoshi the Mamoswine with the Choppleberry, Thick Fat ability. Earthquake, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, and Knockoff. I have the Choppleberry just in case. Potentially live a close combat from a Komodo, or like a Drain Punch from Mew, or a Superpower from Tornadus, or a Drain Punch or High Jump Kick from Medicham. Any of the above. I can potentially live those hits and smack them back incredibly hard with an Earthquake or something like that. The correct move depending on the situation. Knockoff is going to be good against this team. Get rid of all the damage boost items that can be around on things like the T-Tar, the Azu. Get rid of a Citrus Berry if it comes in on me. Get rid of like boots on Tornadus, which could be useful. You know, it could be useful against a lot of different mons. And then Earthquake just hits a lot of his team incredibly hard. Like, it hits everything hard, obviously, except for the Tornadus, because Tornadus is immune. But Earthquake just smacks his team really, really hard, which is nice. Choppleberry is just going to be really helpful here. I have just enough speed to outpace. That is 240. I believe that is Tyranitar. Max speed Tyranitar hits 243. Yep, so this is attack speed Tyranitar. And then I just put a whole bunch into HP so that I'd be bulky boy. Next up we have Yahiko, the unstoppable Zarude. Zarude has put in way more work this season than I ever thought it was going to. The Mon's crazy good. I have talked my crap on this Mon, and it has shined. It has like a 9-6 record or something. It's the second best record on my team, so that's pretty cool. Gotta love when a Mon does better than you ever would have thought it could. Yeah, bulk up, Darkest Lariat, Drain Punch, Jungle Healing. This set can just kind of win if in the right situation. Like, obviously I didn't prep for Lopunny to come. I didn't even put the right speed on it for it. We have enough speed to outpace the Mew and Medicham. Max attack and then 40 in HP. Only thing on this team that threatens this thing, especially once I get a bulk up going, potentially is either the Azumarill, which I can't touch, so I'll have to kill the Azumarill before I set a bulk up, and the Tornadus, which Tornadus immediately, obviously, comes to mind as like a huge threat for this. But Darkest Lariat plus Drain Punch just kind of smacks the whole team, pretty much. Like, it just smacks everything. Especially once I get a bulk up going. Drain Punch blasts through T-Tar, Excadrill by itself. Darkest Lariat smacks Medicham and Mew. Drain Punch still can deal with Komodo, especially because Komodo would have to close combat us. So we can, you know, get extra HP back thanks to that. Ditto's a problem because Ditto would beat us because obviously we get our bulk ups and the ability to Drain Punch us first, so that's unfortunate, but it's what it is. Jungle Healing is going to be important because once I get a few bulk ups going, if I start to take a little bit too much damage, at least Jungle Healing can heal me up. I can get rid of any toxics if they try to get them on me. I can get rid of any burns if something tries to burn me. That's why Jungle Healing is so good. It doesn't heal a lot, but the fact that it heals statuses as well is really, really nice. For a Mon like this, it's meant to like set up and sweep. Next up, we have Kuru, the Mega Mawile. Play Rough, Brick Break, Sucker Punch, and Knock Off. Max HP, 220 defense, and 36 into speed with the Jolly Nature. The 36 speed Jolly Nature is for... I believe that's minimum speed T-Tar. Like, that's no investment Tyranitar. Yeah, I think that's no investment Tyranitar. That feels like no investment Tyranitar. I can't imagine what else that would be. Yeah, because we're base 50, he's base 61. That seems about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. No investment T-Tar. Anyways. This thing, bulky T-Tar, we break through with Brick Break. I have Brick Break as well because I could see potential... Well, no, I just brought Brick Break for T-Tar. Duh. Screens could happen, obviously, but I don't think it's going to happen. Play Rough just hits everything really hard. It's a really strong move. Sucker Punch for, you know, sucker punchy purposes. Could be able to deal with like a Mew late game if it's annoying, or, you know, pick off a Medicham if it's been weakened. Pick off anything that's been weakened because Sucker Punch hits really hard with this beast. Knock Off, just because getting rid of items is super important, and it does hit. Is incredibly strong. It is just incredibly strong beyond all shadow of doubt. It's just strong. It's a strong one. And being this defensive is incredibly important because a lot of members of this team will be hitting it on the physical side, so at least being able to live one hit from those is going to be important. We do live a hit from the Mega Medicham, so we can KO it back, so that's important. So hopefully Mega Model can put in some work this week. Last but not least, we have Kenshin, the Salamence with the heavy-duty boots and Intimidate. This thing kind of also is actually a pseudo switch into Medicham. Gotta obviously avoid the fear that is the Ice Punch, but you can switch in on it still. Dual Wing Beat, Earthquake, Roost, and Defog. We gotta put our faith in Dual Wing Beat again, we just gotta do it. Because it's better than running Aerial Ace Salamence, let's be honest here. Dual Wing Beat will blow through the Medicham. Dual Wing Beat hits a lot of this team for strong neutral damage. Earthquake hits the things that it does not hit for neutral damage. It hits like the T-Tar, the Excadrill, really good damage. So that's really cool. Roost and Defog. Defog is going to be really important because like they have T-Tar and Excadrill, which very easily could just be throwing up their rocks. Komodo as well can throw up rocks. Mew can throw up pretty much every hazard in the game now. I believe it can throw up every hazard in the game now. They have access to that on the site. Yeah, Spikes, Stealth Rock, Toxic Spikes. Yeah, it has everything. Except for Sticky Web, which is fine. I'm happy that they didn't just give it Sticky Web because why not, you know? That would be annoying. But regardless, Defog will be important in this one. Roost to keep ourselves healthy. We have the 136 speed with the Jolly Nature. This is to outpace Komodo. Because Komodo hits 295. I can't hit 296. So, because of how the EVs works, it gives 295 to 297. So, as I drop in... Nope, it doesn't even work. If I drop an IV. So, there's no way I can hit 296. So, I have to go with 297. So, that's kind of cool. Max HP and then threw the rest into defense because with the Intimidates, I wanted to be as physically bulky as possible. But yeah, that's going to be the team. Then let's go ahead and hop into the battle. Alright guys, we are here with our Week 10 battle in the UPA's Showdown Division against DJ Barara and his Vicious Venusaurs. You just watched our team reports, and so you know what we're bringing. He decided to bring his top 6, the Azumarill, Torntea, Mega Medicham, Mew, T-Tar, and Excadrill for his Sandcore, so pretty much like the most threatening lineup he could have brought. This is still a must-win scenario for us. We absolutely have to win this game if we want to still have a chance at making playoffs. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and see how this one played out. I'm going to lead with my Mamoswine as he leads with his Mew. I'm going to click knock off immediately because I don't know what kind of Mew this is. I want to get rid of its item immediately. Obviously, that was a bit of a risk, as he could have been like a weakness policy set, and if he was, I might have just lost the game. But I panicked. I saw Mew and I was like, crap, this needs to die now. So I knocked him off as he just goes for a Will-O-Wisp. Get rid of his leftovers immediately, so that's kind of cool. I went for an Icicle Crash. Just kind of wanted to see if I can get a little bit more damage off on this thing. Maybe get a flinch. And keep this thing kind of low. But unfortunately, I do miss the Icicle Crash there as he gets the Roost up, which kind of sucks. Burned Icicle Crash wouldn't have done too much damage, but still. He goes for a knockoff here, and he gets rid of my Suicune's leftovers, which is fine. I just go straight for a Skull. I'm like, if I can get a burn on something, that's great. This is a pretty bulky Azumarill. Regardless, so I roared right away as he goes for the Paris song, which is interesting. So I'm just going to keep clicking Scald. I have no reason not to. I do not get a burn on the Mew, which is fine. He knocks me off again, which is fine. I Toxic this thing, as the Toxic is passed over to me. And now I have to switch here because this is my last turn of Paris song. So I'm going to switch into Mawile here, get the Intimidate on the Mew, as he actually makes a really good play and goes for a Will-O-Wisp here, predicting the switch. Very smart because my team's very... unless I had gone into, like, Esperon there, which would have been interesting. It would have been a bad situation for him, but, hey, whatever. So I just go into... I go ahead and I just fire off a Play Rough. I actually get a crit Play Rough here, showing that this thing has no HP investment at all. But unfortunately, this thing kills me for sure. And yeah, it's scary. So I switch into my Suicune here, as the Heat Wave damage kind of reveals that he could be Choice Specs. I'm thinking he's Choice Specs at this point. So I'm just going to get some more damage off on the Mew as it switches in, as he's going to Roost here on my Espeon coming in. I click Heal Bell immediately, and I get rid of the burns on Mawile and Mamoswine, as well as the Toxic on Suicune, and I'm also going to lose my Rocky Helmet here, but it keeps him pretty low. So I'm actually going to set up a Wish here, as he goes into T-Tar, and I'm going to pass that Wish off to my Suicune. He goes for an Iron Defense right away, which is annoying, because immediately I'm like, oh, he's that kind of set. Alright, so he's Iron Defense Body Press. T-Tar. That's not great. That's not great for us at all. Because it means he's a little bit more annoying to deal with for our team. We do have the Choppleberry on, Mamoswine for, just in case for this. It's also a little bit, like Salamence can kind of deal with it, but if he has rock coverage still too, then, it's a problem. And like Zarude can still Drain Punch, even though he's a +2, he can still do a lot of damage, but this thing is immediately now more difficult to deal with. But we do get the burn here on the Scalds, and that's great. So I'm going to keep Scalding him because I'm like, he's going to let himself get really low here. And it turns out it's because he has Resto Chesto. Well, not Resto Chesto, he just Rest. But that's annoying. So I'm just going to roar him out, get rid of his +2 as he's asleep. He has wasted one turn of sleep. And at this point, I get the Medicham in of all things. And so I just kind of let it go. I let my Suicune go here. This situation, and he actually sent me the team after the game, this situation, I outsped this thing by 1 point because he is an Adamant Medicham, and he is 240 speed. At 240 speed, he sits at 296, which just outpaces base 85s at max speed. Because of how his EVs worked, he was able to do that. However, I could not, because I was Jolly. So with being Jolly, I could not hit 296. I only could get 297. So because of that, I outsped him by 1 speed point. I was very confused as to why I outsped him, but I outsped him by 1 speed point. I was hoping he didn't have Ice Punch, and I was able to just kill him immediately with the Dual Wing Beat. I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. So I just kind of decided to sack off my Espeon here, and it turns out that this thing's definitely not huge power. I see that now, because the knockoff only did 18%. Like, even if I had no item, a huge power Azumarill, that would have killed me. So I Toxic this thing, just because, and I'm just going to let my Espeon go down. Now that the Medicham was gone, Espeon's entire purpose in this match was to deal with that thing. I go into Zarude, and then immediately realize, I'm like, wait, why did I go into Zarude here? So I go out into Mawile now on the knockoff, as he goes into Excadrill as I go for Play Rough. I knew he was going into Excadrill too. I knew it in my head. I was like, no, just click knockoff or something like that. Would have potentially almost KO'd this thing. But unfortunately, I just went for a Play Rough. I go into my Salamence as he get the Intimidate off, and it doesn't do much damage. I go for the Earthquake right away. As he goes into his Torn. And then he clicks the Icy Wind, and 100% confirms for me that he is Choice Specs, because the only way that this would have killed me is if he was Choice Specs. So, I was like, okay! So I go into my Mamoswine, because this thing can't touch me. And I just click Icicle Crash. Everything gets hit with Icicle Crash, so why not? Then I'm going to click Earthquake here, because the only thing not hit by that is Torn, and that's cool. And then the Excadrill comes in, and I'm like, oh, fun. So I just decided to sack off my Mawile here. I'm just going to go ahead and try to click Sucker Punch there. It does not work out in my favor because he switches. And then I click Sucker Punch here, and it does big chunk of damage to the Torn. That's okay. So go out of my Mamoswine here because I'm thick fat. I can try to force him out. Just go straight for an Icicle Crash once again, as I get a little bit more chip damage on the Azumarill. I have to go straight for the Earthquake. He lives on 1. He lived on 1, mind you. He should have died there. Gets the Perish Song on me, which is very, very, very agitating. Then he goes back onto the Torn. He goes for the Heat Wave there, as I actually knock him off and reveal the Choice Specs, which turns out to be very bad for me. Because he actually still has Grass Knot too. So that really much sucks for me, because Heat Wave was a roll. He actually showed me the calc afterwards. Heat Wave was a roll to take me out from this range. A roll that was more in my favor, but even still, a roll. If I just let him stay locked into Heat Wave, and just Icicle Crashed him there, would have been fine. Also, if I just Ice Sharded here instead, that would have been better. But I kind of expected maybe, after he got knocked off, maybe he would just switch, especially without the extra damage for the Heat Wave. I expected him to kind of switch, too. So, I felt like going for an Icicle Crash here was smarter, because if he stays in and dies, and I don't die to Heat Wave, if he switches, I get another good chunk of damage off on the T-Tar and the Excadrill, and that's good for me. But he does have the Grass Knot, and it does just take me out, so I am a lone Zarude against a Tornadus Therian and a Sandcore. This can only go badly. He goes for the Heat Wave. Apparently he also had Focus Blast, so that would have actually potentially killed me here. That would have killed if it landed, but that's also banking on a Focus Blast landing, which is, well, you don't ever bank on a Focus Blast landing. I don't blame him for clicking Heat Wave here. So I go for Dark Slayer, and I'm able to take the thing out, which is great. And he's going to go into the T-Tar here first, because he needs to stand up for the Excadrill. I actually jungle healing here first, because I needed the extra health back. And now that he's still asleep, because he only had 1 turn of sleep so far, I go for the Drain Punch. I get back a crazy amount of HP. So only thing that can ruin my day right now is an Iron Head flinch, or if he has X-Scissor on his Excadrill. So I just click Drain Punch. I'm hoping, I'm praying. He does not flinch me with the Iron Head, and we do pick up the kill with the Drain Punch, and we win 1-0 in our final week of the UPA Showdown Division. Now, as of this recording, I do not know whether this means we make playoffs or not, because there are so many teams that are so close. Our differential's not good. We are going into we're ending the final week with a record of 6-4 with a -2 differential. So it's not great, but potentially could be enough. It could be enough to get us through. I'm not sure. We'll see. Fingers crossed. We can make it into playoffs. If we do, that'd be fantastic. And we're going to have to go extra hard to make it through those. We're going to certainly do our best. But thank you guys for watching. If this is the last video for the season, it's been a heck of a ride. I've loved my time here in the UPA. I would absolutely love to come back if they'd have me. It'd be fantastic. It's been such a great run. I definitely look forward to doing it again, hopefully. But until next time, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. Peace.